Jackie Lee Price for Shadowboxruk UK. Today's guest hails from West London. She's the 27 times multi-champion champion. She's an MMA fighter. She's still only 20 years of age. Shanelle Dyer. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me on the show.
You fight out of Team Underground, and you're a 52 kg fighter and only 20 years of age. You were last out in, was it July, fighting in the Raw Combat League? Tell me about that.
I fought Muay Thai and Raw Combat League in July the 24th. That's our Nosy Academy home show, and I won that fight.
So what is your record now? You're 27 times multi-champion, but you've got some other little bits and pieces that you've done as well, haven't you? Talk to me about what you've accomplished in all the years of that you've been fighting.
Yeah, well, I started Muay Thai when I was about 9 years old. I've only been doing MMA for the past 2 years, 2.5 years now, and my record now is 4 wins and 1 loss. In MMA, I have 1 title in the MMA, and the rest of the 26 titles I've won in Muay Thai over the years. I won my first title when I was 10 years old, and that was the English Championships. And I won my first world title when I was 11 years old, I think, and that was all the way in Turkey. So yeah, I've been collecting titles and belts since I was about 9-10 years old. So that's all I know, just winning stuff, winning belts, winning trophies, winning championship. I've been in a couple of England teams as well. Every year you have to try out. So I've been in a couple of England teams, fought across the world. I've fought in Turkey, Germany, Italy twice, and Ukraine for multiple championships. And lucky enough, I've won all of them, but one in Italy.
So let's go back. I mean, it's amazing, all of this stuff, but let's go back to the beginning. So you've been, competing as a stand-up fighter since, is it 7 or 8 years of age in Muay Thai?
9 years old.
9 years old. Yeah. So talk to me about, firstly, how you got into fighting Thai, and then you can tell me about the others. There's so much to talk about.
Yeah. In the beginning, I didn't really know it was Thai boxing. I thought it was just kickboxing, and I found out recently kickboxing and Thai boxing is like a completely different sport. But I started off with Thai boxing when I was younger, about 9 years old. It was at a boxing gym because my brothers, they was really into fighting and stuff, so they used to do it, but I think they were kind of too young to do boxing, so they did the Muay Thai instead. They had the Muay Thai as well. And one day I just came up, I was just like, I saw my brothers winning trophies, and I was like, oh, I want to win stuff as well. And I went to the first session and I just enjoyed it from there. And I just carried on, did my first friendly fight, and I made the girl cry in the first round. And then they gave me another person and I made her cry. And I was 9 years old, and they gave me a 14-year-old and I made her cry as well. And after that, I just fell in love with it. Just traveling, the people you meet, friends, and just going up and down the country. I just loved the lifestyle and just carried it on from young. And I won five titles when I was between 9 to 11 years old, including first world title in Turkey.
Wow. I mean, that is impressive. So you started at such a young age. Talk to me about, because apparently girls are not supposed to fight. Yeah. So, it was great that obviously your brothers were involved, and I'm guessing your parents were on board, but what were other people saying about you?
Because obviously not a lot of girls do the sport. I'm usually the only girl in the gym. It's gone better now, but especially when I was younger, I was literally the only girl in the gym, and I used to just get beat up by all the boys every single time. And that wasn't fun. I used to come training and cry to my mum, oh, I'm hurt, this and that. And she didn't really like that aspect. But yeah, people were really supportive actually from when I was younger. Because it would be a different story if I was getting beaten up in fights, but I got used to getting beaten up by the guys. By the time I actually fight the girls in the tournaments, I was really strong and capable. And the sport's really safe as well. Like from the outside point of view, you look at it, just people fighting, but it's really safe. The injuries are really minimum, especially when you're younger. You have a lot of padding, you have head guards, body shields. shin pads, so it's really safe. Even though you're trying to kick the person and trying to stop them, it's a really safe sport, and it keeps us active as well. People really like that as well. After class, after school, we used to just go training, while other people used to hang around the streets and stuff like that. So it just really kept us sane, and a good sense of self-defense as well, especially in this society.
Absolute 100%. So listen, you start obviously with the Muay Thai. You have so many fights, and then you started grappling. Is it only in 2019?
Yeah, only in 2019 it was, yeah.
And then the same year that you make that transition into the MMA, I mean, you know, was it that, did you move into MMA because you got tired of beating up everybody in Muay Thai?
Yes and no, actually, because I kind of got a bit tired, a bit bored of Muay Thai. Not bored, but I don't really see any progression. I was getting older, and Thai boxing was amazing. I love it, but you couldn't really make a career out of it. Like, you get paid a bit, but you can't live on the wages. It's gone a bit better now, but back in 2019, you couldn't really, unless you're elite, like top, like 0.1%. It's really hard to make a career out of that. And I just got a bit kind of bored. I didn't really see the progression in the way, and then I was just hanging out with friends and stuff like that. And I think I lost the decision fight in December, and I thought I would won that fight, but the judges said I lost that fight, so I just kind of got annoyed and bored with Thai after a while. And so I met my MMA coach, Stephen Cook, who just said, "Oh, just come down to do some grappling at Team Underground." I was just like, "Oh, I would come." And then I said that for about 3 weeks, but I didn't actually come. And he was just on my case. So I just said, "You know what? I might as well just come." So I came down and just tried grappling, and I got beat up. I got tapped out like 10 times, and I had no idea what I was doing. I just thought it was like sweaty people just hugging, rolling around. It was so weird. It was so weird. But the atmosphere in Team Underground, that from the beginning, he was just like, "Oh, you're gonna be UFC champion." The whole vibe of the gym was amazing, and I really liked it. It's like a family. So I just kept going, got better and better. And imagine 4 months later, he said, "Oh yeah, you'll get your first MMA fight at the end of the year." And I was like, "Yeah, I will," but I had no intention of fighting MMA. I was just saying I would fight end of the year. 4 months later, he was like, "Oh, do you want to fight MMA in 5 days' time?" I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Why? I'm not doing anything better. I might as well see what happens. If I win, I win. If I lose, I lose." And I went there and I finished the girl in the first round.
I mean, amazing.
And after that, I just loved it.
The thing is, firstly, when you walk into an MMA gym, well, it's not an MMA gym, because I know there's different disciplines within the sport. Yeah. But the first time you go in there and you're at the top of your trade in Muay Thai, and all of a sudden you're at the bottom. Yeah. That's what is that like to walk in and first like get on the mat?
It's so frustrating. It's humbling as well. Like, that's why I don't think a lot of people transition a lot. Like, I'll go to a Thai gym, and majority of the time I'm one of the best Thai people in the gym. But going to like a grappling, MMA gym, and I just get tapped out like I'm nobody. Like, I've done all this training for no reason. I just get beaten up by everyone.
Choked out.
It's just so frustrating. That there's nothing you can do, and it's so hard. Like especially jiu-jitsu as well. It takes like a year, at least a year and a half, for you to actually get what you're doing in jiu-jitsu. So the first year in jiu-jitsu, it was just I just got beaten up, and every time everyone beat me up, I was just like, "Oh, just watch when we start doing stand-up and we start throwing punches. I'll beat all of you," and then they just take me down and then choke me out. But I'm happy. Just the team and the vibes just kept me there. Kept me humble. They're like, "It's gonna take time," and it took time, and I'm confident in my grappling skills now. It's amazing.
What is amazing is you keep going back. So that's the first thing, because like you say, some people, when they're at the top of the game, they don't really want to push themselves, and at such a young age you're still pushing yourself, even though you're getting licks.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, my mentality is just like, just watching a couple of years, I'll be submitting every single one of you. And then fast forward like 2 years later, I'm submitting like half of them.
Good. So talk to me, you were saying you've had 4 wins and 1 loss. Do you want to talk to me about, what's that like for somebody that has, multiple wins under their belt, and then to obviously, take a loss? Does it have the same effect in MMA as it does in boxing? So what I mean by that is, everyone moans about their own going. Does it have the same effect in MMA?
Everybody knows about what?
Losing their own.
Oh yeah. It's amateur. Obviously, when you're pro, it's a bit you want to stay undefeated and stuff like that. But I'm still amateur in MMA as well, so I still think about it's just learning and just experience wise as well. Because when I started MMA, I had the first fight and I fought someone kind of my level. And my next 3 fights was against tough opponents. And as I just said, I started MMA like 4 months before my first fight. And so all these opponents I've been facing, they've been doing it for years and years and years, and I hardly knew what I was doing. So I was kind of winging it in kind of a way. And then when I lost to Ivana, and I got my own, that was for the Cage Warriors belt as well. So if I won that, I would have got the Cage Warriors belt. But I think it was kind of humbling, and I think it's kind of a blessing in disguise as well. It kind of brought me down from reality because everyone was saying I'm such a top fighter. I've knocked out the world champion, knocked out blue belts, been doing it for ages. So it kind of grounded me in a bit and made me work even harder. Be like, okay, this is where I'm at. Learn from my mistakes, working on my grappling more. Because I'll tell you now that if I don't lose that fight, I wouldn't have worked on my grappling like near as enough as I did this past year. I've done it so much just because of that one fight that I've lost. So it's all amateur as well. So I've been taking all the hardest fights. I might as well just take all the hardest fights now. So I'm prepared for when I eventually turn pro. I've been in all these type of situations, this hard situation. I fought purple belts, grapplers, wrestlers, kickboxers. Maybe lost, maybe win, learn about myself more. So when I turn pro, I can stay undefeated.
You taking that as a blessing in disguise, the loss, and that you learn from it. That's all really a coach can ask for, really. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So,
I was back in the gym Sunday evening working on the exact thing that I got caught on. Just learning curves.
Yeah. It's great to hear. It's really great to hear.
Yeah. So obviously I was upset straight after the fight because that's how much it means to me. But after you blow that, just get back into it.
Yeah, 100%. And to be fair, come on, you've literally had just started grappling. Crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy, So I come from a boxing background, and the women although there's this big thing about women's boxing is booming at the minute, they get less wages, they get less publicity.
Yeah.
Is the sport of MMA the same, or is it ahead of us in terms of especially at your level, grassroots level, even though it's amateur? Is it better than the boxing scene?
I think it kind of is, especially pro wise. We get the same amount of publicity as the men's in a way. So when they have a main card, we get like a main card as well, or we might even be the co-main event. So we get the same amount of publicity as well. But I think amateur wise, especially in the UK, there's not as much girls that do MMA compared to boxing. It's like so hard to find matches, especially in our way. There's so much potential, but people don't actually push themselves to be the best. They might do a couple of fights, just do it for fitness. But if you really push it, then they can be the best.
100%. And here's the other thing. You saying that there's not very many female MMA fighters. So obviously you have to spar guys. Yeah. Is it really difficult though to find the females to spar? Because, closer to the fight, I would have thought you still need to spar a woman.
Yeah, I'm really lucky. Like, I have a training partner, Chloe Cook. We're kind of similar weights, and she's Cage Rose champion. Her grappling is amazing, and she's a really, really good MMA fighter as well. She's 3-0, one of the best in the country. So I'm lucky I have her as a sparring partner. When she's there, we do most of our fight camps together. But yeah, when I was younger, I had to just spar much of the guys as well. So I'm used to sparring with the guys. Like, when she's not there, I don't mind sparring the guys stand up, and they're really nice as well. They don't use their mind strength or power and size, and they let you flow, and they teach you a lot. I kind of take it as a blessing as well, because they're bigger than me, so they don't want to crush me. So they teach me stuff, and we flow. They teach me movements, and I flow with them. But obviously for MMA, you want to grapple someone kind of your size, so you can actually pull off moves, see if it actually works in a game scenario. And certain moves, that when you're picking up the passer, you can't really pick up someone 50 kg heavier than you.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
You've been lucky enough to train with some of the best fighters and trainers, work with the best trainers as well in Thailand. So tell me about your experience. Is it at the AKA gym?
Yeah, I trained at the AKA gym the beginning of 2020. I got a sponsorship there, so I was meant to stay there for the whole year. So I stayed there for 2 months, flew back to fight Ivana, but then they closed all the borders, so I got stranded back in England. But yeah, the 2 months I was there, the level, like fighting and sparring people from all around the world, Olympic wrestlers, like high level UFC champions, sparring against them, UFC veterans, doing pad work with them, seeing their lifestyle, how they trained. It was really enlightening as well to see how they train. I was like, oh, I want to do that as well. So I'm really blessed to be trained with high level people like that. And it was so amazing.
Sorry, go on.
No, it was so amazing, the whole experience. That I was only 18 years old and I got to live in Thailand by myself. And that was basically the life. I was just sleeping and training. That's what I want to do.
What's amazing about that is, number one, how young you are, and you were so dedicated to the sport that you've actually left the country. Listen, that's, you know, all the way in Thailand. Do the other fighters look after you, or is it kind of you have to kind of not fend for yourself in a bad way, but like, or is it kind of like a family environment?
It's kind of like a family environment. So everyone kind of looks out for each other, especially in the gym race. I've got a couple of friends there that we go out to eat in the evenings and stuff like that. We go to the beach on our days off. But yeah, I trained like literally. I was there and I trained like 5 times a day. I did the morning 2 classes, did yoga at lunchtime. I did like the last 2 classes. So I was just always training. And everyone was like, if I was your age in Thailand, I would never train. I would just go party or stuff. But I was dedicated. I just train. It's always there.
That is, honestly, for that experience. And then unlucky for you, though. You got stuck. I mean, if anywhere...
I got stranded.
The best place to have been stranded would have been in Thailand, wouldn't it, really?
Yeah, but everything in Thailand shut anyway. So all the gyms shut. And they got locked down anyway, so I just had to be in my hotel room, like wasting money. So.
Oh, okay. I just had images of like you got training away because remember the professional gyms here were open. I don't think the first time, but the second time they were open, the boxing gyms anyway. And I thought you might be able to sneak out and train and then just go back to the hotel, but no.
No, they're really strict there. So when they get like 2 COVID cases, they shut down the whole of the island.
Wow. Okay.
Proper.
Yeah, so maybe it was a blessing in disguise that you came home then, actually. Because I think mentally it would have been quite difficult for you to have been there on your own. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the scholarship, is that quite normal then for people to win scholarships to go over? I asked that because, again, in amateur boxing, even at England level, there's very little sponsorship. So how did you go about getting a scholarship?
First, for AKA, I actually applied, but first I was meant to go to a different gym called Absolute MMA, and they were offering me accommodation and training and everything. And I think in Thailand, a lot of people stay at the gyms, and to live there, you have to fight. You fight like every 3 weeks, and they take like 40 or 50% of your pass. So that's kind of how sponsorship works in Thailand. And I was going to do that for Absolute, but I end up moving into AKA. And I applied to AKA like a year before. You just had to apply because they have a lot of money, AKA. So they gave me free training. And so I just got my hotel and I got food as well.
Nice. Yeah, really nice. So talking about, 2019, when you were new to the MMA scene, I'm guessing you were less confident on the ground.
Yeah.
Obviously, because you're a stand-up fighter. How did you combat that mental side of the game?
You said I was less confident on the ground. I was less confident in my stand-up as well. Okay. Because I was so hesitant to throw, because everyone was telling me, "Oh, don't throw mid kicks, you'll get taken down." So I stopped throwing mid kicks. I didn't want to throw knees because I might get taken down, or I don't want to throw more than 3 punches because I might get taken down. So I was so hesitant in the beginning that I couldn't flow as I usually know that I can in Thai boxing. So I knew that every fight, even when I won my first 3 fights, I could fight so much better, but my confidence on the ground wasn't up to par. So what I did was I did so much jiu-jitsu, so much takedown defenses, so much jiu-jitsu, so much wrestling. So I got my blue belt now. So I've been doing so much jiu-jitsu. So now I'm really confident in my jiu-jitsu. My last MMA fight that I had in June, my stand-up was really good. So I could flow so much well because I wasn't scared of getting taken down. So I can utilize all my fakes, all my moves, and it was a really, really good fight. So now I'm really confident in my ground game. My stand-up can flow, everything can flow, and I can be an even better fighter for my next fight on Saturday.
100%. So listen, you know what's great about that? I think it happens to fighters when they learn something new and they're trying to sort of add another tool to their toolkit. It happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, especially transition from Muay Thai to MMA. Like you can't have a traditional Muay Thai stance because it's easy for them to do a double leg on you and take you down those type of ways. So I kind of had to adapt my style. I hated it in the beginning. Like Stephen, my coach, he was just like, "Yeah, you have to be on your toes, bounce around." I was like, "I don't want to bounce around." He's like, "You can't do Thai style." I'm just like, oh, it was so frustrating. But I kind of find a style that kind of works for me now. That it's hard for people to take me down. I can still utilize my Muay Thai in my MMA and go from there.
Definitely. So who are your inspirations within the sport? I know that you're obviously new to the sport. Do you look at anybody in the MMA, or is it all Muay Thai fighters that you kind of take your inspiration from?
Not really. Most people that inspire me is people from the gym. Like people, because you can say like UFC fighters, top people, sports personalities, but you only see them on their best day. You never see them on their worst day. Like people, my whole team inspires me. You see them cutting weight, you see them getting frustrated, throwing up, like emotional, and then you see them win a belt, and that is so amazing. That really inspires me. Like all the different styles come together as well. That motivates me a lot. Everyone has their little thing. We have like in our gym, we have karate black belts, judo black belts, jiu-jitsu black belts, Muay Thai world champions. Like everyone come together in their own discipline. It's really amazing. I only started watching UFC this year. But my favorite UFC fighter is Israel Adesanya.
Yeah.
Because I think we're kind of similar as well, because he come from a predominantly striking background.
Yeah. Was it kickboxing he was involved in?
Yeah, he was kickboxing. Yeah, he had so much kickboxing fight. Because in the beginning, I actually didn't really like MMA, hated it, because I I don't know anything of the ground game, so I just thought they would just hug him, just stand them up, and their stand up was so bad compared to Muay Thai. I was like, why am I going to watch MMA when I can just watch high quality Muay Thai bouts? I don't really like watching it, but seeing Izzy come from karate to bring high level striking to the UFC and MMA fighters, and he's champ as well. It's just like, oh, I can do that as well. Amazing, it's inspiring. And we're from the same country as well.
And you're Nigerian, aren't you?
Yeah, half Nigerian, yeah.
So were you born in Nigeria and then came to England, or you were born here?
I was born here. My mum was born in Nigeria.
I guess that's, you're looking to be at his level in terms of being able to make that transition, because, you know, I know it's hard. I came from a kickboxing background into boxing, and I couldn't, when I started learning how to throw hands, I couldn't get the kicks off. Yeah, so I was just like, either I do this, or I'm like, hold up, and then I was in my head. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, when we do boxing rounds at the gym, it's so awkward because I'm always like trying to kick, or just like my stance is so different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you're more square on in kickboxing and Muay Thai, and it was like, and then you kind of have to dissect them and then try and get them to fit together. And I'm guessing though, going back to what you were saying about, you know, being in the gym and the people that inspire you, I guess the most beautiful thing about that is that you can see them broken down, you can see them training hard, you can see all the effort and everything that goes into it, and then you see the payoff.
I get more excited for them than my own fights. Like seeing them win, I have the same feeling seeing myself win. Oh, it's just an amazing feeling, especially like cornering them, screaming at them, seeing it all pay off. Oh, it's so amazing.
It is, to be fair. It really is. So let me talk to you just briefly about, I'm interested to know whether female fighters in MMA, even whether it's amateur or professional, do you guys get a lot of sponsorship, or is that difficult to find?
I think I don't say it's easy. I think it's kind of similar. Like you have different types of sponsorship as well. I've got a couple of sponsors. I don't think that they're not biased in MMA. They try to make everything kind of equal. If a guy gets sponsored, the girls will get sponsors as well. Fight wear. So if it's a girl fight wear, they will more sponsor the girls fight wear. The girls.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
Yeah, I think it's good too.
Yeah, really good to hear. So recently, you had a bad girl response to Hannah Brady. Wasn't she calling you out? I see the bad girl response.
That was after my fight. I was so elevated.
It was hyped.
I forgot. I forgot what I even said in the interview. After the interview, I was just like, I'm gonna regret this in the morning. But yeah, I don't know. I
was thinking, I wonder if she regrets that after
anyone
can have it. She can have it. Anyone can have it.
Oh, it was so. I didn't even know what I said. Oh, you know what I said? I was like, yeah, she can have it yesterday, today, tomorrow, but not this year. Not anytime, but not this year. Maybe next year.
Because I'm busy. That was the thing that made me laugh. You can have it, but I'm actually busy right now. But if you come back next year, cheeky. No, it was.
I went to the fire anyways.
You do or you don't?
I do. Yes, he's a good fighter.
But next year, when you're not so busy.
When I'm free. Maybe November. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. So you got a fight, haven't you? Is it Friday or Saturday?
Saturday.
So Saturday, talk to me about your fight Saturday night, and what can the fans expect?
I'm fighting on Retribution show. That's our home show, and it's going to be MMA. That is my 6th MMA fight now. So you're just gonna expect carnage as all of my fights. It's gonna be amazing. I've worked so hard as well. I've been on fight camp for like 3 months. I'm just gonna let it all out in that fight.
Oh, wow.
In front of the home crowd as well. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, I feel a little bit sorry for your opponent.
I was doing the beginning. I'm just like, it's business.
It's true. It's all business.
Yeah.
It's all business. Finally, Shanelle, listen, if I have to roll out one evening, if you come with me, would you have my back?
Obviously, 100%.
Love it. Listen, wish you all the luck on Saturday night. You know, cause carnage. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. But keep in touch, and we'll speak some more in the future, hopefully.
Definitely. Thank you for having me. I loved it.